Story in the Stars is a film that's just come out by Joe Amaral, our guest, wrote it, produced it, and it is awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're excited.
And you should be. It's one, and we're so glad to partner all month with you on this and make this available to our audiences. Joe, what are the constellations, the stars, the alignments have to say related to the death of Jesus Christ?
Well, actually, the skies say a lot. You know, Jesus says in Luke, I think it's 21:25, he says that there will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. This is Jesus, not John, not Paul, not Peter. Jesus says.
Nor you and me.
Nor you and I.
That's right.
You know, he says there will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And Genesis 1:14 says that God created the sun, the moon, and the stars to serve as signs for mankind to mark sacred days. And the word for sacred days in Hebrew is moed, which means the feasts of God. So Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles, all of these feasts.
Right.
We should not be surprised if there's celestial activity on those days, because God said, when those days happen, I'm going to mark it in the sky with celestial events. So we have something very, very fascinating in the book of Joel. It's very prophetic. It's very kind of end times. And if you're into that, you've heard it before, you know, that the sky will turn dark and the moon will turn to blood on the day of the Lord. And we actually have those two events happening on the same day. And they occurred at the death of Jesus. When I began to look at the constellations, and it came from Revelation 12, because John looked up and he saw a woman and he saw a dragon, and all these kind of freakish signs. And I began to understand them in their constellational origins. He was actually seeing a woman, which is Virgo. He was actually seeing a dragon, which is Draco. And so if John gives us other descriptions, maybe we should be looking at these zodiacs, at these constellations, to see how they work in the life of Jesus. And we know, even by going to NASA records, that on April 3rd, 33 AD, at 3 p.m., from the field of view from Jerusalem, a blood moon began to rise over the horizon. And the Bible says that when Jesus died, that there was darkness that came on the land, and then at 3 o'clock, the moon turned to blood. And so using exactly what God said, what Jesus said, that the sun, moon, and stars, there will be signs, we can determine the exact day of his death. Because in the first century, there was only 2 blood moons that we know of that occurred on a Friday and Passover. This year, April 3rd, it's Good Friday and it's Passover, and there's a blood moon. Why should we be surprised? God said he would use these celestial objects to mark sacred days. And his death, what a sacred day.
Well, the study gets more and more fascinating as we move further and further into our conversations. And in a 40-minute film, beautifully done, Story in the Stars, Joe Amaral and his team have produced something that we want to get into your hands that will uncover more and more of the constellations, the alignment of the stars, and what it means. Joe, we're thrilled to have this conversation. We're going to continue all month long. Thanks for being with us. And thank you very much.